Will flipping properties be interesting in 2023? That is question 7 that I asked you in my daily property quiz. If you missed the other question, check out YouTube videos and play the quiz, test your knowledge, and find out, follow us, subscribe to find out the answers. Flipping means you buy a property, you renovate it, and you sell it again. That's the business case around it. One piece of caution and 5 elements that impact your business case, 5 success factors. What is a piece of caution? The number one mistake that most small investors make is that they assume that what worked once last year will also work well next year. It's a major misassumption that people make in their business cases, and certainly in today's market this will not be true. What worked well for you last year will potentially or probably not work well for you next year. And why is that? Here's 5 success factors. What does a good end result, a good business case for flipping depend on? What impacts it? Here's the 5 points. A, it's how cheap can you buy the property? Secondly, for how much can you sell it, logically. In between is how much does your renovation cost and how well can you control that renovation cost? The 4th point is what is your cost of capital if you finance or not the investment. And the 5th element, the 6th success factor, is what about regulation and taxes? Now, if you think about these things, the number one point that you can control best is the renovation process and the renovation costs. It's all decisions that you take. You decide which construction company to work with, you negotiate the prices, you decide what to do, what not to do in the property. That's controllable. The purchase price, the selling price, the taxes, and the interest rates, that's much more difficult to control. On the renovation topic, there's a deep dive analysis session that you find on my YouTube channel. It's episode 8 from our real estate series. It's a webinar, it's a recorded free webinar, where I talk about what is a successful renovation. So it's about 1 hour deep dive on that element that you can control as part of the flipping process. Think about these 5 success factors. How cheap can you buy? The market is changing, and as I explained in another video part of the daily quiz, is prices will probably stabilize or potentially go down a bit. So that's good for you. That's good for your business case as an investor who wants to flip properties. Of course, you need to sell the properties afterwards, so there is a challenge. Because if the market stabilizes, it's harder to realize that higher sale. Doing flipping in a market that's increasing 5 or 10% every year is very easy. Everyone can do it. It's going to be more difficult, you need more discipline, you need more expertise next year, 2023. Renovation costs we talked about, you can control, but keep in mind the material costs have increased because of inflation. So you need to model it in carefully, adjust your numbers, and that's an example of what worked well last year might not work well next year because you need to increase your renovation cost. The same for the property purchase prices or the selling prices. Cost of capital is not in your favor. Interest rates have gone up, and there's also another video on this topic where I explain why it's going up and what the implications are for you as a buyer. So it's not controllable. And the last part, regulation, taxes, it's not everything is possible there. In terms of regulations. Now, you cannot just buy a commercial shop, turn it into a property. You can do it sometimes, but there's risks related to it, there's uncertainty. So careful when agencies present you such a business case, because it's often not possible or very difficult. What can you do next? If you're interested in this, check my other YouTube videos. Again, they're free. One is on property prices for 2023. We'll put a link in the comments or here on the screen, you can find them. That affects buying and selling prices. Secondly, the webinar episode 8 on renovations, deep dive on what makes a good renovation. 3, a video recently recorded about interest rates, how that impacts your cost of capital, also on the YouTube channel. If you like it, share it, help other people make better decisions, and then we're very happy as well. We can make a positive impact on more people. Success!